Hello children, welcome to biology class. We are continuing the lesson chemical coordination and integration today. So today we are starting our class by discussing adrenal gland. Children, we know that our body has one pair of adrenal glands, and where is the location? Yes, it is at the anterior part of each kidney, isn't it? The gland is composed of two types of tissues, centrally located adrenal medulla, and outside lies the adrenal cortex. Okay, so you just observe this diagram. The production of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, causing acute weakness and fatigue. Okay, and it leads to a disease, Addison's disease. Okay, children. Then about adrenal medulla. See here you can see cortex and medulla. We discussed about cortex already. And medulla secrete two hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Epinephrine or norepinephrine respectively, and these are commonly called catecholamines. Okay, adrenaline also called epinephrine, noradrenaline also called norepinephrine, and these two hormones are commonly called catecholamines. Okay, adrenaline and noradrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind and during emergency situations, and they are called emergency hormones or hormones of fight and flight. These hormones increase alertness, then pupillary dilation, then piloerection, that means raising of hairs, sweating, etc. Both the hormones increase the heartbeat, the strength of heart contraction, and the rate of respiration. Okay, and they stimulate the breakdown of glycogen and resulting in an increased concentration of glucose in blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins. Then cortex divided into three layers like zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, and zona glomerulosa. And this cortex secrete hormones commonly called corticoids. They involved in carbohydrate metabolism that we already mentioned. And in our body, children, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. And these corticoids which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body are called mineralocorticoid. Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid in our body. Then glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, then proteolysis, and they inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as kidney function. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produce anti-inflammatory reactions and suppress the immune response. Cortisol stimulates the RBC production. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubules and stimulates the reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of K+ and phosphate ions. Thus, aldosterone helps in the maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, and blood pressure. And a small amount of androgenic steroids are also secreted by the adrenal cortex, which play a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, and facial hair during puberty. Okay. Next one is pancreas. It's a composite gland. This yellow color, you can see in yellow color pancreas, which acts as both exocrine and endocrine glands. Endocrine pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. In class 10 you studied about this, isn't it? There are about 1 to 2 millions of islets of Langerhans, and normal human pancreas representing only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. The two main types of cells in the islets of Langerhans are alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells secrete glucagon while beta cells secrete insulin. We know that glucagon is a peptide hormone and play an important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. Glucagon acts mainly on liver cells and stimulates glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. And this hormone stimulates the process of gluconeogenesis, which also contribute to the hyperglycemia. Glucagon reduces cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Thus, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. Insulin. Then insulin is a peptide hormone which plays major role in regulation of glucose homeostasis. We know that it mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes, cells of adipose tissue, that is adipocytes, and enhances cellular glucose uptake and utilization. As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting in decreased blood glucose level. And insulin also stimulates the conversion of glucose to glycogen. Okay, and prolonged this hyperglycemia leads to a disorder, diabetes mellitus. Okay, children. Next is about, so here some digestive enzymes are secreted from pancreas. That's why it is having exocrine function. The endocrine system means they release these hormones. Okay. Then about testes, a pair of testes is present in the scrotal sac of male and is composed of seminiferous tubules, stromal tissue, Leydig cells, etc. And they produce a hormone, that is androgen and testosterone. We know that androgen regulate the development, maturation and function of the male accessory sex organs like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra. These hormones stimulate muscular growth and growth of facial hairs, that is secondary sexual characteristics. Okay, and androgen act on central nervous system, influence the male sexual behavior. The hormone produce the anabolic effects on the protein and carbohydrate metabolism. Next is about ovary, female hormones. So we know that females are having pair of ovaries, the primary female sex organ which produces one ovum during each menstrual cycle, and it produces hormones called estrogen and progesterone. And after ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to a structure called corpus luteum which secretes progesterone. Then estrogen is the main hormone which produces wide range of actions such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organs. Then next one, development of ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sexual characteristics, gland, mammary gland development, etc. Okay, children. Then about progesterone. Progesterone supports pregnancy. Then progesterone also acts on mammary gland and that stimulate the formation of alveolar structures which store milk, milk secretion. Okay. Then about hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. So let's start with the heart hormone. The atrial wall of our heart secrete a very important peptide hormone, that is atrial natriuretic factor, which decreases blood pressure. When blood pressure is increased, it secretes which cause dilation of blood vessels. This reduces the blood pressure. Then the juxtaglomerular cells of kidney produce a peptide hormone called erythropoietin, which stimulate erythropoiesis. Then different part of gastrointestinal tract secrete four more major peptide hormone, that is gastrin, then secretin, then cholecytokinin, then gastric inhibitory peptide. Okay, children. Now, the last topic is about the mechanism of hormone action. Hormone produce their effects on target tissues by binding to specific proteins called hormone receptors located in the target tissues only. Hormone receptors present on the cell membrane of the target cells are called membrane-bound receptors, and the receptors present inside the target cells are called intracellular receptors. Mostly the nuclear receptors. Then a binding hormone to its receptor lead to formation of hormone receptor complex. Then as is specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are specific. This hormone receptor complex formation lead to certain biochemical changes in the target site and target tissue metabolism, and hence physiological functions are regulated by hormones. Okay, so on the basis of chemical nature, there are peptide hormones, steroids, and iodothyronamines and amino acid derivatives. So hormones which interact with membrane-bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell, but generate second messengers like cyclic AMP, IP3, calcium ions, etc., which in turn regulate cellular metabolism. Okay. Then hormones which interact with intracellular receptors mostly regulate gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. So cumulative biochemical action result in physiological and developmental effect. It is given in our textbook. So hormones action on receptors, response 1, generation of second messengers, biochemical response is the result to physiological response. Okay children, so this is a mechanism of hormonal action. And that's about this lesson. It's very simple lesson. You have to read a lot. Okay children, thank you.